This is a story on one of the best linebackers that was in the NFL. His name was Ray Lewis. Ray Lewis was born Ray Jenkins on May 15th, 1975 in Bartow, Florida. Lewis' early childhood was not always stable. His mother, Sinceria, was 16 when she had him, and his father, Albert Ray Jenkins, was absent largely in his childhood. As a young boy, Lewis had to become the man of the house and help take care of his four younger siblings. He would help his sisters with their hair and make sure his brother would show up to daycare on time. Very angry with his father, lack of being there for him and his siblings, Ray would abandon the name Ray Jenkins and take on his mother's boyfriend's name, Ray Lewis, when he entered Kathleen High School. At Kathleen High School, Lewis would become a standout wrestler and football player who overcame his smaller size at the position linebacker with a fierce intensity and unmatched instincts. During his 4 years at the school, he led his team to a bevy of state and city titles for football and wrestling. In 1992, Lewis, armed with a full scholarship, he enrolled at the University of Miami. At the time, it was home to one of the best football programs. He became a great addition to the Hurricanes defense and went on to set the school record for single season tackles twice. At the end of his junior year, Lewis was runner up for the Buckets Award as the nation's best linebacker. Following the 1995 season, Lewis declared for the NFL draft. In the spring of 1996, the Baltimore Ravens made him a first round pick. His pro career. Outspoken and furious, Lewis spent his 17-year career with the Ravens. He was a force right out of the gate. Going into the club, he led his team in tacklings during his rookie season. In 2000 and 2003, the league named Lewis its Defensive Player of the Year, making him just the sixth player to win the award multiple times. In addition, he earned 13 trips to the Pro Bowl during his career and was named to the NFL's All-Decade team for the 2000s. Lewis' best year arguably came in 2000 when he led his team to a Super Bowl title and took home the MVP honors. Overall, it was an astonishing year for Lewis, who led his defense. The registered four shutouts during the season and establishing league's records for fewest rushing yards and fewest points allowed during a 16-game season. At the age of 37, Lewis had finalized his career with his second Super Bowl victory against the 49ers. How could it end any better any way than that? He said to the interviewers after the game, adding, "And now I get to ride into the sunset with my second ring. Baltimore, Baltimore, Baltimore. We're coming home, baby. We did it." Arrest and murder suspicions. But for all his talent, Lewis' reputation will always be mirrored by his connection to a gruesome double murder outside of Atlanta nightclub in the early morning hours of January 31st, 2000. Atlanta had hosted a Super Bowl and the game Lewis attended and concluded just hours before. The details of what happened that night had never been sorted out. What is known at some point during the night, a fight had broke out involving Lewis that left two men dead. Lewis was fingerprinted and jailed for 11 nights and indicated with two others in the murder. At the outset of the investigation, Lewis lied to the police, saying he didn't know his two co-defendants. Many felt like Lewis had something to hide, but key evidence, including blood-stained white suit that might link Lewis to the death, was never recovered. In the end, Lewis struck for a plea bargain in return for having the murder and aggravated assault charges dropped. Lewis pleaded guilty to one count of obstruction of justice and agreed to testify against his two friends, both whom were eventually acquitted. Lewis was also sentenced 1 year probation. While managing to escape the wrath of the law, the NFL showed its displeasure over the situation and fining Lewis $250,000 at the start of the 2000 season. In early 2013, Lewis faced accusations that he used deer antler, a controversial dietary supplement that was banned by the NFL. Deer antler contains a high concentration of insulin-like growth factor, which much like human growth hormone, promotes the faster recovery throughout the body. Lewis denied the accusations. In conclusion, Lewis would retire as a pro football player and join ESPN and NFL sports analyst. He assumed a similar role on Fox Sports in 2017. The following year, he was inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Thank you for listening. You just do not know how many times I had to restart and delete this video. Thank God that this is done.